Hi, y'all. How are you doing today? I am here to tell you my personal story in the last 3 months. So I just want to warn you that sometimes I might tell the story in a funny kind of way because that's how I handle things. I handle everything with humor. And sometimes you might get this person right here, which is a person today kind of like going through some withdrawals with what I've been through and processing what those feelings are because I am not accustomed to these type of withdrawals. I've been drunk, withdrawal, I get it. I've had weed. Sometimes you have to withdraw from weed, but this is a little different. I didn't realize how intoxicating a narcissist can be. And I thought I could handle it, but I also didn't know that the person had a narcissistic personality. And I don't like diagnosing people because that's not my job. Even as a psychic, when I do my readings, I don't diagnose the type of person that you're dating because I'm not a medical professional. But this felt very narcissist. So I'm going to have to find a way to say what I want to say without the labeling. So maybe it's as simple as this is what it felt like to me. So I work on a street that is full of comedy. I mean, full of comedy. And so there are many stories that could come out of this series. One of them is trying to figure out how I got into this mess, and then giving y'all some past history, and then things happening in the moment, and then um, having recall memory. So the series is not always going to be live. I don't have the energy to produce this live always. And I feel like there's a little bit of freedom in my vocal expression if I didn't go live. I'm only going live today, and I plan to go live, or it might be audio, or it might be live. I don't know on any given day what I might do. There are things that happen in a moment that I want to tell you guys in a moment. It might be very funny, something that happens on Strand Street in a moment that I might get on audio and be like, oh my God, this is the funniest thing that ever happened today. And then sometimes I might go live, or sometimes I might be in my car. I don't know about you, but I think a lot in my car. So I don't know where to begin because even now I feel like I'm all over the place. So I feel like I want to start at the end and then work myself backwards and just put in like middle stuff. I don't know where to begin. Let me begin with this is embarrassing. And I take care of so many women that find themselves in predicament. And I'm always like, no, no, you can get out of this. No, stay strong. And to be honest with you, I feel like sometimes I want to say sorry for maybe being too rough. I don't have regrets in being too rough because what I realize is that if you're dealing with a strong character on one end, you need an equal strong character to remind you, no, get out. No, you're not safe. And I feel like that's what I was being for all of you. But I also feel like many of you were calling for sympathy. What I can tell you is that most of my people that I deal with, I've had the experience already. So I'm not coming from a place of, I have no idea what the hell this is. Like, I've been pregnant. I've lost a child. I've been married. I've been divorced. I've been cheated on. All of it. So when someone calls me for a reading, like it is from a personal place of survival. Most times the way I handle my survival is to not dwell in an emotional space of woe is me. That's just me. I get it. Today, I feel like I'm going through withdrawals, which feels like depression. Which feels uncomfortable. Let me tell you that I'm entitled to tell my story. I'm also entitled to tell my story my way. So I don't even know where to begin. How do I begin? Okay, so I'll begin this way. I don't know if you guys saw a video that was live, and a man walked into my video and he's like, do you want to, like, he didn't like, you didn't see that part, but he was like, do you want to tell them I'm your man? I wasn't really ready to tell you guys that, but I was like, oh God. And I was like, okay. So he comes into the video and I announce him as my man. And that was twofold. It's almost like I'm going to just be honest and I'm going to be raw and I'm going to figure out, oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not even looking at the comments. Oh, thank you. Some people know the story. I don't know how much I've told everyone, but there's at least four people that know this story or parts of the story. Um, um, so he comes in. So I was like, oh, do I really want to do this? I got to go back and look at the video to see like what my expression was, or maybe I didn't even show an expression. Maybe I was like, okay, come on in. I just, anywho, he comes in to the video half naked. Like we didn't even notice that he was half naked. He comes in half naked. And somebody said something in a video. And I was like, they were like, Tracey, he's half naked. And I was like, oh my God. And he was like, oh my God. And then he got off the video. And then I disappeared for a while because I don't know what I was showing. I was showing something. And when I got back on, it looked like we had a tussle in the hay, but we didn't, right? But it was like just tussling, but not sex. And I'm just going to be raw and honest. You guys can figure out who's an adult and who's not an adult. And then that night, after I had gotten off the feed, we had sex, but I have been bleeding during sex. And I didn't tell him the first two times, but by the third time, it was gushing out blood. And he said it. He's like, there's a lot of blood here. And I was like, yeah, that's been happening lately. And he said, you're a vampire. And I said, no, but I will go to the doctor because I just, by this time, it was just too much blood. And I thought because I hadn't had sex in 4 years, it was normal to bleed. But then the second time, it was more blood. By the third time, I was gushing. full transparency. I don't care what anybody thinks. Like, just go with me. But there was little things that he kept saying like that. Like, it was unkind, period. Like, how dare you call me a vampire? Like, I could have a medical condition. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, this is getting out of hand. Like, it's only been 3 times. Like, what the fuck is this? So I commit to going to the doctor first thing in the morning. And I speak with the doctor, and the doctor said, "You're an older woman." And he said, older women have lubrication issues. And I was like, oh my God, I heard about this. Like, I'm this that I heard about. And I was like, oh my God, I heard about this. I said, oh my God. And he said, you need to get, I don't know, some lubricant of some kind. He actually mentioned a brand. And please, brands, I will sponsor a brand because I'm living proof that over a certain age, you need a lubricant. And what I noticed is that the first time I did bleed, and then I could feel the cells inside my vagina heal. Remember, I'm a sensitive soul. So it's not abnormal for me to literally feel the cells come together and heal. Like, when I conceived my son, I did something that was so natural that I didn't know it. So the night I conceived my son, I just laid there, period. I'll never forget. And I remember thinking, why are you laying here? But remember, I'm in my 20s. I don't know I'm a psychic yet. And I don't know. So I just lay there on my back, didn't move for like an hour, just content to just lay there. And then that's a technique that is used that uh, professionals will tell you, like, just after sex, just lay there. And I had miscarried before, so this time around, I can only like I'm ruled by spirits. I can only think that spirit was like, lay there. And so I did. And that night, I felt that I was conceiving my son. And he was literally conceived on December 26th of 1987. Yes. And so what was going on here with feeling my cells go back together, I was like, what? This is so weird. Why am I feeling myself? And so the second time, I felt like I had to be broken open again because I don't know, I didn't know it was an elder issue. And so by the third time, this is now a medical problem. And his response to me was, you're a vampire. And I was like, okay, why don't we just go with that? Like, who says such crazy things? And so the very next day, I go to the doctor and he explains this whole KY jelly bullshit, but I don't like putting chemicals in my body, so I don't know how I'm gonna work around that. And like, do I use baby oil? Full stop. But I haven't invested in what type of lubricant I should take. I haven't looked it up yet. And I go to pick him up to go to take him to his hair appointment. And he's not talking to me. Like, just not talking to me. So I was like, So I went to the doctor as I'm driving, right? And he's like, oh. And I was like, yeah. Silence. Silence the whole ride. So I'm thinking, he must believe this vampire story. I mean, it's the Caribbean. God knows what goes on here that people could actually believe something like that. I was like, oh my God. So I decided not to tell him. Like, I decided the information between me and my doctor was private. You're not asking. I'm telling you, I just came from my doctor. You're being like, I felt like he was being disrespectful. And so I dropped him off, and he didn't want to kiss me. And so I was making a joke, and I was like, get over here, kiss me. Didn't want to do it. And I said, okay, okay. So I keep registering things, not taking action. And then that night, I was coming home from work, and I went through a back way, and I run into him. And I pulled over, and I said, where you headed? And he goes, I'm just going to hang out. And he said something weird that I didn't get. He's like, I'm coming home. I'll be home. And I just looked at him and I was like, okay. Like, I don't live in that world where you need to check in, you need to answer to me, you need to let me know where you are. I don't care. Like, please do you. But he said to me, I'll stop by. And he never does. Never does. This is Saturday. He never does. Later on, I heard gunshots, which sometimes, depending, it could be common here. Sometimes you don't hear anything for 2 years and then you might hear it too much. Oh, you guys should see the New Year's. Like, literally, they have to put up a post in a paper that says, hey, we're doing fireworks, no gunshots. It's so funny. And sometimes you can't tell. Like the first year I was here, I was like, my first New Year's, the fireworks, so pretty. And then you would hear gunshots. And you'll be like, wait, what am I hearing? And so I was up on my terrace with people I didn't know, right? Because I had just gotten here 4 months prior. So I just went up to random people and I was like, am I hearing gunshots? And they go, oh, yeah, yeah, that's very common. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, what is that? I was like, fuck it. I'm not judging. I'm just going to live here. So, with that being said, sometimes 2 years can go by, you don't hear gunshots, and sometimes you could hear it more often than you like. And so, I heard gunshots, and they were so loud. And they were coming from the direction that he was going in. So he didn't come by. It's late at night now. It's like 10 or 11. I said, God, I just hope he's safe. But I didn't bother to call him because he said he was going to stop by. It's not my job to chase after you. I don't even care if there are gunshots. I will never chase after you. I don't even like if I called his phone and he's in a hospital, that doesn't make sense. He can't answer his phone. But I figured if I don't hear from him by tomorrow, which was Sunday, I would call him. I would call the hospital and say, is this name here? And I said, that's what I'll do. But then I forgot to do it. I'm just not a good girlfriend in that way. Like, just so much lack of emotions, not lack of care, lack of emotion. So I completely forgot. And around 3 o'clock, I'm doing a live, and he comes to my door, which was wide open at the time. I just looked at him and I said, I thought something happened to you. And he goes, why would you think that? And I said, because there were gunshots last night. And the wording of what I said triggered him. And I'm not even sure what I said. I think, no, he must have said, and you didn't call me? And I think I answered, how do I call a dead person? Oh my God. And he went ballistic. He's like, what? And he's like, bet we're broken up. And I was like, okay, I guess we're broken up because again, like, what are you doing? I think it's reasonable to think that maybe something could have happened because you did not stop by last night. And like, I'm not sure, like, I don't deal with gunshots. So I don't know how to act. I don't know, like, oh, let me call around. Are you okay? Like, fuck that. Like, you're either here or not here. Like, I'm not like the emotional type of person. Like, no, I don't live in a gangster world. I don't know how to act. And I think I need some grace because what are you doing? Like, but then I think what I said was kind of rude. I was like, how do you call it? I was like, how do you call a dead person? It was funny in my head. It was so funny in my head. He took it so seriously. He went ballistic and he's like, we're broken up. We're broken. I was like, okay. But what he didn't know, which I told him much later, I said, you keep saying things that turn out to be true. He's a bit of a warlock. And I recognize that. And I said, you keep saying things that turn out to be true. So when you broke up with me, that came true. I have no desire to revisit this. Now, what happened there was small compared to everything else that's been happening. This guy started out acting like he didn't like me that way. I would invite him to my house, and he spent the whole time pretending, I think, that he didn't like me. He would come over, we would watch movies together, he would go home, and I thought he was just a good male friend. Call me dumb. I don't know how dumb this looks, but again, full transparency. And then he said, so there became an apartment available in my complex. And he kept complaining about his apartment. And I was like, I think there's one available. Miss Marion's apartment, driving me crazy, Miss Daisy. I said, somebody was supposed to take it. They didn't take it. I know it's available. So I can ask my neighbor who has the same landlord. And I do that. And he moved in back in November. And I don't see him for months. For months. And then he came out his face and he goes, I really like you. And I said, since when? Wait, what? And he goes, I've always liked you. I said, we went on a date initially, and it was a disaster. Warning one, warning one, flashback. It was a disaster. It was around 5. He said he was finishing work, but I didn't think he wouldn't go home to shower. We went for pizza, and the whole time he was complaining about spirituality. And I kept saying, "Oh no, I know. I understand. No, I get you." But he kept talking as if I wasn't listening. He kept talking as if he was alone. Like he kept talking like he didn't understand. Like, "Hello, I'm spiritual. Like I get you. I'm trying to tell you that everything you're saying is so apropos, it's correct. Like you're doing an amazing job just learning the whole spiritual spectrum." But it was like I wasn't there. So I said to him, I know this is going to sound crazy. Trust me, I feel crazy. So I said to him, why am I having pizza on a date? Pizza's my favorite thing. I'm on a date, which is supposed to be your happy place. I think one of your happy places, like I don't go to Disneyland. So one of my happy places is a good date. Oh, let me tell you something. These niggas don't date on this place. They don't date because if they date you, me, they know everybody. They know the kitchen staff, they know the wait staff, they know the bartenders. So nobody dates here, right? At least states, maybe it's stateside people. I don't know. And so the dates that I've gone on, they like to go up and down the coast. And by the fifth time, again, not the brightest. No, not the brightest. Like I'm always like, "Hey, you want to go on a date?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." And then I find myself up and down the coast. I think date means feed my fucking ass. I got thick thighs. These don't come by accident. This comes because I put food in my belly. But they would take me along the coast. By the fourth time, I said, I'm never doing this again. I'm going to make sure brains, nothing's there when it comes to dating. I lose it, right? Just simple minded when I'm dating. So I was like, the next time I go on a date, I'm going I'm going to say no. If they don't tell me the restaurant or whatever, I'm going, right? And so we were on an actual date. And I was like, oh, this is different. Like, I'm on an actual date. I'm a native New Yorker. Pizza's my jam. Don't ruin my pizza experience. Do you know what? Don't ruin dinner. You know what? No. Act like a human being on a fucking date, why don't you? Like, what are you doing? So I finally said that to him. I said, what are you doing? I said, look around. Look around. Who's arguing with their dates but you? What is this? And then I thought, he's ruining my pizza. It's just time to go. I'm just leaving. But of course, I announced it. I was like, let's go. And then I thought, maybe there's an age difference thing. Turns out, I still don't know his right age. I don't know if I met him at 43 or 44. We'll say, but I gave him my right age, and I think he upped his age. It's just a nightmare. It doesn't matter, right? It's like 20 years younger. And the only reason why I dated somebody 20 years younger, because island men seem very crotchety in my age bracket. And I don't like crotchety. I don't like it at all. I don't know what to do with crotchety. Like, what do I do? Like, do you come to my house and be crotchety? Do I go to your house and be crotchety? Because then I got to figure out, are you clean? Are your sheets clean? You've been alone for so long. Like, I don't know what to do. Blah, 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 blah. Right. So I don't go to anybody's house. Right. And so when this guy came along and it was like, listen, I'm warning you. I put it as a warning. I'm warning you. I'm 62. And oh, I might have been 61 at the time. I was like, I'm 61. Like, I know I'm too advanced for you. So I don't want anybody old and crotchety, but I also don't want anybody too young, like too young. And he was too young. And I knew that. And I didn't listen. I didn't listen to myself. Back at the original date. So we leave and I'm pouting. I'm so upset. I was looking forward to this day. This person worked with my boss. I figured if my boss hired you, you must be trustworthy. It was an actual date, even though he didn't clean up for it, which is also kind of weird. So I'm just so turned off at this point. Kept arguing about spirituality. Shut the fuck up. And so I leave. And he leaves with me. And I had to pick up food for my neighbor. So we went to another restaurant while I picked up the food. And he immediately apologizes. He goes, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I acted the way I did. And I said, it's okay. It's fine. I get my neighbor's food. We walk out. I fall flat on my face. It took 3 people to lift me up because I was like chunkier back then. And so now I'm really embarrassed. This guy is skinny. Skinny guys love me, by the way. I mean, emaciated men love me. It took 3 people to lift me up. That's really funny. And I did tell you guys this story year a few months, like 18 months ago. I told you guys this story. Any case, I don't see him again for a good year. And then he was working with my boss, and I'm thinking nothing of it because we had never dated again. The the date was a disaster. I mean, he did try calling me a couple of times and we did talk. I remember I was on vacation to see my sister and we talked then. And I was like, oh, okay. This guy's like telling me his history, da 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 da, but I'm on vacation. I was like, okay. And then I get back and then I don't see him for a while. And then he winds up working with my boss again. He's telling me about his apartment. I was like, oh, there's an apartment in my complex, but I'm not thinking he's dateable again. I'm thinking this guy, call me stupid. I'm thinking this guy is like one date disaster, never to date again, but might be a good friend. So I started inviting him over to see a movie, blah, 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 blah. He's not showing any signs of wanting to be amorous with me. And I'm like, I feel safe until he moves in. And he moved in November. I still don't see him. I do remember him saying, do you want to go out for Valentine's Day? I have not been out for Valentine's Day in 25 years. Like, I think that's a low number. So I go, yeah. And he goes, okay, let's go to this restaurant. He starts making plans. Let's go to this restaurant. And I was getting excited about like having a Valentine's Day. And in between where we were conversating about this or that, he says, I might go away for Valentine's Day. I just stayed quiet. I was like, well, I've spent the last 25 I say this to myself, not to him. I just go, I've spent the last 25 days not going to Valentine's Day, and it'll just be another year. Like, I don't know you that well to say, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't talk that way anyway, in terms of like in my mind, I might say that, but I don't say that out loud. So I don't see him for Valentine's Day. I don't he lives in my complex by this time. I don't see him at all for a week. When prior to that, he would knock on the door, we would talk, da 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 da. He'd go back, but I don't see him for a whole week. He's like, "Oh, I'm flying out for Valentine's Day." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I I, I realize now that this was the beginning of the narcissist behaviors. What I feel like is narcissistic style. I didn't know then, but I guess he wanted a reaction out of me. But one, I'm too grown. I tried to tell him, like, being in your 60s is amazing. It's so amazing. You don't give a fuck about anything. My mom and dad used to tell me that, and I'd be like, oh, I hate you guys. How could you not give a fuck about anything? My mom and dad, separate, would be like, nope, not caring. I thought I had the worst parents in the world. I'm there. So I realize now, and I could be wrong, but again, I'm telling my fucking story. I realize now it was part of a game plan to get a reaction out of me, because this is the style I believe to me felt like what narcissists do. Like, say something, then break your heart, then come back and heal you. And so I thought nothing of it. Nothing. Until somebody told me, one of my other neighbors, they were like, oh, so and so was supposed to go away. And I was like, yeah, I heard. And then so and so goes, but they didn't. And I was like, oh, they didn't go away? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But the neighbor didn't know. I was like, that's interesting. So he begins to show up again at my door. And he did something weird, but I didn't recognize it until I saw the movie Sinners. He would knock on my door, but stand at the door. Now, that might be a Caribbean thing. I don't know. I'm not Caribbean. I was not born and raised here. Banya, they say, or Debanya. So I don't know. Is it proper protocol? I meant to ask him about that, but maybe I'll ask somebody else who is born and raised here, which makes a big difference between here and another island. But he always stays at the threshold. And I always have to invite him in, always. It's like opening up the door is not enough for him to step through. Say, like in stateside, that's not the way it is. You open that door. Hey, girl. Hey, honey. Like, but not here. Like, you have to be invited in. And it might be a cultural thing. But when I saw the movie Sinners, I thought, what? 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 Like, the energy has to be invited in? What the hell? So he knocks on my door after the supposed Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day was so beautiful here. There were so many people on dates. All the restaurants were crowded. People were walking around with holding hands. It was so pretty. And I remember going home thinking, oh, I wish I was on a date, because everybody seems to be so like happy and dating, and it seemed romantic, and all the hotels were booked the fuck out. There wasn't a hotel to be like, "You got room?" No. So you would have to do it in your car or go to the beach and do it, right? Some people are too grown to be going to the beach, right? And so I went home and I thought, "Oh, oh well." And then he shows up, but somebody had already told me he didn't go away. So then I was like, "Hey, you didn't go away for Valentine's Day?" And he kept saying, "I told you," but I don't know what he told me. And I said, "Yeah, I know you told me you were going away, but it turns out you didn't go away. What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't go. Oh, you're right. I didn't." I'm not even sure what he said, but again, trigger number 2, right? I might be a trigger 25 at this point in your mind. You're like, "Tracey, why?" I don't know why. Should have just nipped it. Like, the signs were so clear from jump, from the start. And I thought, that's rude to myself. I think I might have said it to him, but I'm also really good at not showing my cards. And I really had to decide who affects me and who doesn't affect me. And I decided that Valentine's Day was pretty enough to walk around and get to my car. And I was enjoying the effervescent feeling of everyone else being in love or wanting to have sex, which is what I really thought everybody was doing. And that I didn't need to have a partner that day. And I should have listened to the warnings leading up to that day. Okay, guys, I'm going to end this session right here. Let me just see what you guys are saying because I wasn't watching, else I would lose my train of thought. Uh, Ariana, Noelp is right. Noelp is right. I can't say his story. I can only say that it had a lot of what Noelp is putting here. Um, but I don't know his whole story. He was very protective of his story. Um, but a lot of what Noel said here is absolutely a big problem. And it's what creates any one of these things, any 2 of these things, any 3 of these things, any 4 of these things. Put them all together and you have all of this. You have a survival technique. And that's how the narcissist is formed. And the minute they trigger into that defense mechanism, um, is where, let me just take this down, is where you don't know. So could it happen at 15, 13, 8? But when they become an adult, they start to use techniques and speak in a way where they're just trying to survive. But the real basic issue with the narcissistic is an incurable mental illness. Half the times, they don't know it. Oh, Dara, oh, you were contacted. No? Do you have time tomorrow? Anytime after 12. Not what happened. I was in Zoom. I was in Zoom at 2 o'clock. Were you there? It's okay. Anytime after 12 tomorrow. Do you want to give me a time right now? What do you think? Is 12 good for you? You were there? I don't know what went wrong because I swear to God, I was there. I was there until 2:07. And then my boss wanted me to go for a run. So I said, I'll just leave the Zoom on. And I just never saw you show up. I'm so sorry. Oh, one is perfect. One is perfect. You have the Zoom link? You called what number over and over? Oh, the 213 number? That's what I said to him. That's what I said. I was like, no one called me. You weren't the only one I missed today, though. I don't know what happened. Hold on a second. Are you, did you know it was Easton, the 213? Okay. Are you Eastern? Are you Central? I was wondering if that was part of the issue because it was supposed to be 1 p.m. Eastern. No, but let me apologize. We'll just redo this tomorrow. How's that? 1 p.m. is perfect for me too. All right. And you'll get a confirmation text. Okay, Dara? Let me see what you're saying. Eastern. I was there, 2 o'clock Eastern, but you know what I've decided? I love your story time. Oh, thank you. Oh, wait, wait, it gets crazy. And okay, thank you. You're welcome, sweetie. Um, Sometimes I will miss an appointment and then we reschedule, and the rescheduled appointment is on point. So I never have regrets except for the time that you slotted. But sometimes if it doesn't go through, sometimes that's God. So I never worry. But I do want to apologize. Thank you. I know I do tell the best stories. I don't know how to tell this story the way I normally tell it. So I'm not always going to be on video because sometimes I just want the freedom to say it accurately. So sometimes you'll get a video, not a live. Um, what? You think that's a thing? Oh, if I would have known it was done on purpose. See, homie, don't play that. I remember the incident. You remember the pizza, and then I fell on my ass, and I needed 3 people to. Yeah. Sounds like we've all dealt with a narcissist. Yeah. Oh, wow. Juanita says my boyfriend was the biggest narcissist. How did you get away? I fully get it. I don't like my age group much. Yes. Oh, Noel says I met my narc. Oh, can I say narc? Oh, I'll say narc. It feels safer to say narc at 44, but he said he was 34. What is that with the lying? Dick dive saves lives. I'm trying to tell you, feed me. Somebody better feed me. Oh, and then just to end this, before I wound up seeing this guy, I went, one of the taxi drivers was like, you need to go to this restaurant. They make the best food. Well, to be honest with you, I think everyone makes good Caribbean food. I can't really decide that this person makes the best food. Because like everybody kind of makes the same thing. So I don't want to say this one is better over this one, right? I'm not really like feeling that or to say it. So I went to the restaurant, I ate something. The taxi driver just dropped me off, so I was by myself. A guy comes in from St. Thomas and he was flirting with me and he's like, yada yada, boom, boom, boom. I'm from St. Thomas. I'll come take you out. I'm here seeing my mother. So I said, okay, I would like that. I say okay to dates regardless, right? I was like, okay, I would like that. But now this is like my fourth time going on a date. And I said, where? And he goes, I'm going to take you up and down the coast. And I said, no. And he says, what? And I said, absolutely not. I said, I've been up and down the coast 4 times. 4 times. Why won't anybody just take you on a date? And he goes, oh, it's so beautiful, the coast. I said, I know. I've been up and down the coast 4 times. No, no. I want to go to a restaurant. If you can commit to that, I'll go to a restaurant. It never happens, but we had already exchanged numbers. So then I didn't have a car yet. So I was taking a taxi. And me and this other woman, she was from Stateside in Frederickstead. I was in Stateside in Christian. And we were just talking. And I said, this, that, and the third. And this is what you could do. Like, I'm acting like I know, like, this place, right? I don't. But, I can be supportive of someone stateside. And then I said, just be careful with the men. They don't like to date. And I had a younger male taxi driver because all the taxi drivers here are like ancient. And I had a younger male taxi driver. And I looked at him and I said, why is that? And he said to me, because they all know each other. So to me, it was kind of like these men are embarrassed to date someone from stateside, or they're embarrassed because they might have significant relationships. So when you date someone stateside, they don't know anybody. But the one that you're dating knows everybody. And of course, if there's a significant relationship out there, word gets back. Period. Point blank. People gonna know, people gonna find out. And I don't need a bitch looking at me like I took her man. Like, I don't need that. Like, that's not going to happen. But I understood from that point, and that's when I stopped dating. I was like, I'm not safe. It's not safe to date here. These men are not honest. And I'm not putting myself in jeopardy. Not because of them. I don't need no bitch coming up to me, pulling my hair. You got my man. Like, no, I didn't know. Take him. I didn't know. That's what I would say. I'd be like, didn't know. Here, have him. I'm from stateside. That would be my excuse if I ever got caught out there. I'd be like, I'm from stateside. Like, you seriously think I'm trying to take your man? I don't know him. I don't know you. I don't know anybody. I'm just on a fucking date. And clearly I'm on a date with a stranger. That part. And you do remember him too, right? Oh my God. So you keep track of all my stories. Feed me. Feed my ass. Dara, that's a really good point. And I think maybe we could talk about this another day. But it I think it's really hard to raise healthy men. I think that if we don't really look at the men, like we raise in the Black culture, we raise really good women, highly educated. We push them, we're hard on them. Your ass better get an education, blah, 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 blah. I think with the men, the character changes with moms. And I'm not blaming moms. Let's get that really straight. I'm not blaming you. I just think consistency doesn't stand. And I think that if we have a lot of narcissistic men out here, what happened in the household? And there's too many of them. Like it's an epidemic. It's too many of them. It's too many that has childhood trauma and there's no resources to help them heal from their childhood trauma, to catch it early, to get counseling early. But somehow, culturally, Black girls have childhood trauma, but we move it into healing and developing and to looking at it. And so we don't wind up as traumatized, maybe because we're portals and maybe because we have to recognize like something has to change from the generation, because if I push another child out here, I'm going to recreate all of that ugly. And I think a lot of culturally Black women have figured out that, yeah, I don't want to do that. And it comes with education, guys. That's what the key is here. It comes with better education. What do you think? Give me the comments in below, like why there's such a disparity between unhealthy women and unhealthy men, and yet the women like has these breakthroughs, but the men insist upon staying in a mental depreciation. Like the growth is just never there. It just keeps waning. Like, and you wind up with a 5-year-old. I'm kidding. I'm so kidding. I'm not kidding. All right. It's an epidemic for sure. Thank you, Noel. It's an epidemic. Very hard to raise healthy men. We're doing something wrong. That's all I have to say. Our society allows men to get away with way too much, way too much, way too much. My brother didn't have to do anything, anything. And he was a horrible, horrible person to be around. Horrible. All right. But we'll talk more on this. Maybe this is a way that we all can heal from narcissistic exes. I'm hoping. Oh, creative. I admire how you are at peace with being on your own. Girl, if I had to depend upon a man for my peace, I would never get it. Ever. My 24-year-old neighbor the other day told me he didn't want a feminist. Okay. I hope you were like, okay. Like, don't even respond to dumbness like that. The poor girl that's going to wind up dating like that person. Don't even argue. Just be like, okay, like, that's your right. Like, right, Dara says, depend on yourself for peace. I can relate. Ew, gross. I've seen those things. I've seen those things. It does feel like hillbilly personality disorder. Let's call it that. That's a good one. All right, guys. I am still processing what I'm going through, and I kept getting nervous as I was leading up to trying to tell my story. And finally, I got two readings from two amazing people, Beautiful Conundrum and Samara. And then I spoke with one of my own clients because there were two clients that asked. And she was like, "Are you still dating that one person?" I was like, "No, no." And then I was like, "I'll call you later." And so when I called her, she really helped me with quite a few things. But one of the things that she helped me with was pushing through to tell my story. And one of the conundrums that I had, talk about beautiful conundrum, is should it be a podcast? Should it be this? But Apple wouldn't let me form the podcast because I didn't have the right picture with the right JPEG. It was like a nightmare. And so I kept delaying the podcast. I thought I went, she says, "Why do you want to put on a podcast?" And I was like, "I don't know." And I don't know if she said it, but it came through like, "Just put it on YouTube." I was like, "I guess I could put it on YouTube. It's a safe medium for me." And so after having this conversation just a few days ago, then I was like more prepped to tell the story. But today I decided I was going to tell it. And then I kept getting nervous and I almost backed out. And finally I was like, "Tracey, create the title and do it." So, episode one. There will be many. It's not always going to be like where I work is a hilarious bunch of people. They are so funny. So sometimes I might put an audio and upload it and you won't see my face. Sometimes I might go live just for the fun of it. But come on this journey. And if we can talk about the knocks that we dated and how to recognize it right from jump and don't allow yourself to be embarrassed or act like I just haven't had a date in a while. And I just want to go out on a date. Like, understand that any faux pas is actually a big red flag. So I would say one faux pas after that, any faux pas after that is a red flag. And I had many faux pas after that. No, I didn't argue. I just know he'll be single for a long time. What happened? Oh, love this new series. Thank you, Noelle. Aw. All right, Dara, I will see and speak with you tomorrow on Zoom. Again, sorry for the miscommunication. I will see you at 1 o'clock. If anyone wants to do a reading with me, I am available at 213-458-7408. That number is a text number. Don't call it. It's a text number. So I'm so sorry, Dara, but I'm so glad you came on tonight to clear it up. Thank you, Noel. Thank you. It gives us a chance to like talk and share experiences. And thank you for letting me be vulnerable. Love you guys. Take it easy. Bye.